J.J. Abrams film. Nah, it's a Shipyard episode, but goddamn, look at that sun glare. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so earlier today, before I left for work, my friend Barbarian Jon messaged me, and he messaged me this. I have a build-off challenge idea. A ship made for three. A gunship with planetary capabilities. One pilot, two gunners/operators, what have you. No more than 4 turrets and 4 other weapons aside from turrets. So I did message him back saying, hey, I think I'm up to the challenge. So I've got these lovely ladies here, so let's start with this one. So funny part is, originally, for this ship, I actually tried to record a build-off, well, not a build-off, but a build video. I was going to basically speed it up, show you everything that I did, explanations as I went, and then the final show-off. But I did not have OBS set up correctly. I now have it set up correctly, but I can't do the build-off. And then I was actually waiting for my lovely girlfriend to call me while I was building the other one, and it took her so long to call me back that I did not record during that time because I thought she was going to call me immediately back, and I built the whole goddamn thing while I was waiting for her. So this first one is a proof of concept. I just wanted to see if I could do it. So this one has a rocket turret on either side. As you see, we got one operator on either side. We've got our pilot here, our 4 Gatling guns, and then we've got a Gatling turret on top for defense. It's pretty straightforward, but overall it's kind of a weak design. If getting hit from underneath, you're pretty much boned. Any shot from underneath. It's all light armor. There's no heavy armor to it. There's no protective design whatsoever. Excuse me. So it's not bad with the 4 cannons, and the 2 rocket launchers would definitely hit very hard, and that's for the gunners, and the top one would be for AI. And then I put 2 merge blocks on the back for merge block weaponry. And it's very bulky, it's very big, kind of awkward looking. It flew just fine, actually. It actually flew pretty well because of lack of heavy armor. It's all light armor, so it's quite maneuverable. But overall, I felt it wouldn't be very survivable. Excuse me. So after dealing with my full build video and not going to work out, I'm like, alright, I'm going to make this goddamn work. So I built this one. This one is a full build. This is the Uller, which Uller was a Norse god of the hunt, and this thing is a hunter. So same thing. We've got a, actually I'll shut off my light here. We've got a cockpit on either side, which each one is gunned for shooting the gun on its side. So I didn't realize that they could only go down so low, but still you can shoot at ground targets, especially if you're in a bank. This thing could definitely work. So, but yeah, so you got a turret gunner on either side. Shut that off. Boop. We have one on either side. We've got a turret on top. And then we've got 4 rocket pods, 2 under each wing, and they use the salvo script. So there we go. Pretty straightforward, but this thing has quite a few features that I really, really enjoy. So first off is with the undercarriage. So this whole bulky bit all right here, all the way to right here actually, is hollow. So there is one level in here that there is nothing, and all the blocks that aren't the slopes here, all these ones, are all half blocks. So yeah, they're not as tough, but they'll take a hit, and then none of this will ding up and damage anything above it. So, I mean, this will, but it's still heavy armor. They're full block heavy armor here, and, you know, to help protect the cockpit. So for the most part, it's in, so after this space, there's actually light armor under here before these cockpits. So you've got quite a bit to shoot through before you hit anything vital under here. Now back here, it's a little bit more open, but usually if you're attacking, you'd be attacking at this angle. So anything that's hitting you is going to see you from here down to here, for the most part, or even from over here. So a lot of your rear thrusters are pretty well covered. I just didn't want to use too much heavy armor in the back. I'm less concerned about the back end of the craft. Atmospheric engines are also pretty tough. But I did put this grid work of protective armor on the side, which is heavy armor, but it's light because it's half block armor, and it's spaced. So we've got some room in there. I think overall that would work pretty well. Now, originally this thing did not have this centerpiece. It had like a cone here, but at its weight, it could not get out of atmosphere. It was also underpowered. I had a medium cargo container internally, because originally it was asymmetrical. Originally on right here, there's a reactor, and then right here there was a medium cargo container. But this thing's got so many goddamn thrusters, and it's so heavy, that it needed more. And so I ended up replacing the medium cargo container with another reactor, which was a good choice. Now I get to about 65% power usage-ish. Yeah. Oh, which reminds me, I actually got to put a jump start, because I used to have a jump start back here, but now I don't have one. So I will find a place for one. I'm sure I can. So anyway, I ended up putting 2 small cargo containers up here. This really can't carry much in the way of munitions anyway. You basically just want to stock up with your ammo, and that's about it. And then 4 rockets per pod, or however many, depending on your world settings. Now this thing is not very maneuverable, but it can accelerate well. Obviously, it has to be transatmospheric, and this can actually leave the atmosphere. So I'm quite pleased with this. This wasn't a bad design, it just, I felt there could have been more. Now the main difference is that this has rocket launchers, and this one's rocket turrets, and this one has Gatling turrets. So this one doesn't quite hit as hard, but I feel like this one's better infantry support, which I feel is the idea behind it, you know, being a gunship. But with the rockets, you can take on heavily armored targets. So, and then the top turret is meant for air defense, because this thing's supposed to be more low altitude. You hit your targets, you hit your, you know, the tanks or the fortifications you're after. You support your infantry with your side cannons, and then whoosh, back up into orbit. So the only thing I'm missing, I actually forgot to put a projector inside to be able to project its own blueprint, which is important. So because this thing's going to be taking damage. But that's the whole point of this, is this thing's meant to come down to the ground, take damage, deal out a hell of a lot more, and then get back up into orbit. So I'm pretty pleased with how this one turned out. And actually, if you look at it, it's a little less bulky than this one, yet it can do more. Or at least survive a lot more. And I like how I kind of integrated the guns into the wings. The idea was literally the cockpits are conveyed directly into the turrets. Kind of like door gunner turrets, in a sense. So, alright, well, I guess I'll give a quick show here of how it handles in space, which is okay. It's very sluggish. It only has 2 gyros. I haven't tested this, but at 81,000 kilograms, I'm pretty sure this does not work on Luna. I would need a fuck lot more thrust than 1 large thruster. But it's got 1 down here, 1 on top, 1 on either side, 2 in reverse, and 6 in the back. So, but this needs a lot to be able to carry 3 people, ammunition, all these thrusters, all this armor. Yeah. So it's like I said, it is not a dogfighter by any means. It is very slow, very sluggish, but it is flyable. And in atmosphere, it's kind of the same, but I think of it as a hindy. This thing is a strafer, and as you fly along, you can start to, you know, bank so that your gunners can fire to either side. And so the settings on either side gun are actually set all the way down, so that only the gunners can use them. There's no AI in the side ones. Top one is targeted for everything. AI, max range, shoot away. Yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and copy this. We're going to go down to Earth, which is on the other side. Here we go. A lake is always a good way to go. Thunk. Rock and roll. There we go. I also like the way the landing gear is set up. And thunk. There we go. It's almost helicopter-esque, just without the lights. Alright, so go ahead and power it up. So yeah, 67% is with atmospheric, but I got both sets of thrusters running. I just find it far more efficient that way than worrying about shutting off one set than the other. And ion gives you extra thrust when you're in the atmosphere. Go ahead and take off here. Are we decelerating a little bit? So you go at about this 45-degree angle to get up to altitude. Once we get to about 5 or 6K, we can actually rotate fully vertical. Actually, it might be lower than that. It might even be 4K up. So, the only thing I really need left to do other than the projector is I need to set up the hotbar too. As you see, the hotbar is not set up. So, but overall, I'm pretty pleased with this thing. I think it would be able to do exactly what Barbarian Jon was saying. You know, just to be a trans-atmospheric gunship, a nice heavy support craft to be able to come down, kick some ass, and go back up. In space, it would still work, just not to the same extent. I geared this more for ground support, but still being trans-atmospheric. Now, I could make something like this much lighter and much cheaper for ground support. Now, that's kind of my big thing with it, though, is that I do feel a pure atmospheric ground attack craft would be the smarter way to go, just because it would be less labor intensive to build and a lot less to lose, you know, if it gets shot down. What am I at? Almost 5K. Okay, so that's about this. As the ion thrusters really start to take over and gravity starts to, the polar gravity starts to go down, angle up a little more. So yeah, this is a little bit better now that I've got the 6 thrusters. Yeah, I didn't quite know how... I started with the front end. I knew where I wanted the, like, gunners, quote-unquote, to be, with the Gatling guns and everything, and I kind of built the front off of that. Then I built the hollow underneath, and I'm like, that's fucking perfect. Which I got the idea from that from when I did an A10 design, which I think I showed in a previous episode. Which had a bit of a hollow underneath. The whole idea is I wanted to make it actually effective, but it wasn't. It's not the best design. It looks more like an A10 than handles like one. It's very sluggish. You know, and an A10 in real life is a damned maneuverable and responsive aircraft, even when fully loaded. So, there we go. What are we at? 10K? Yeah, 10K. Hey guys, quick update on the Uller. So I decided to make some changes. First off, I tested its battle resilience, shot a rocket into its underbelly, and it had knocked off both of the gyros that were underneath, which as you see are in there. So instead I encased them a little heavier with blast doors and made sure that there's no, other than above obviously, but underneath there's no deformable blocks to be able to take it out. So, and then I also added 2 more on top that are encased, which I'm less worried about them popping off. I also removed the supports holding the rockets, just popped them on there. I think that A, looks better and it's just nicer overall. Ooh, a little stutter there. And that's predominantly it for the changes. Oh, and just added a little more wing design to this. But it's heavier now because of the blast door blocks and all that, but it takes, and the extra gyros, but it's more maneuverable and takes more of a hit, but it's still perfectly capable otherwise. So, also, little teaser of what's going on here. I was building a ship, as you see there. I got a framework from Devil's Wear out there. My ripsaw I've been working on. That's one of 5th's relay stations with an SRS ship of mine, my SRS ship, and a new station that I'm designing based on my old Beowulf design. So that'll probably be my next Shipyard episode. So just thought I'd give you guys a little clue back there. So, and a lot of that is actually being worked on for the Glorious Adventures. So, alright, just thought I'd give you guys a little update.